Chapter 12. In the 7th year of the reign of Jehu of Israel, Joash became king of Judah. He reigned in Jerusalem 40 years. His mother's name was Zibiah, and she was from the city of Beersheba. All his life, Joash did what pleased the Lord God, for the priest Jehoiada advised him. However, the pagan places of worship were not destroyed, and the people continued to offer sacrifices and burn incense there. Joash called the priests and ordered them to gather all the money collected in the temple, that is, the payments for sacrifices, the temple taxes, the money from vows, and voluntary offerings. Each priest was responsible for the money brought by the people he served, and the money was to be used for the repairs of the temple. But in the 23rd year of the reign of Joash, the priests had still not made any repairs. So Joash called Jehoiada and the other priests and asked, "Why are you not repairing the temple? From now on, do not keep the money you receive, but hand it over so that the repairs can be made." The priests agreed to this, and also agreed not to remain in charge of the temple repairs. Then Jehoiada took a box, made an opening in the lid, and placed the box near the altar on the right side of those who entered the temple. The priests who took care of the entrance put in the box all the money given by the worshippers. When they saw that there was already much money in the box, the king's secretaries and the high priest came, counted the money, and put it into bags. After recording the correct amount, they gave the money to the men who were in charge of the work on the temple, and these paid the carpenters, the builders, the masons, and the stonecutters. They also bought wood and stones for the repairs and paid all the other necessary expenses. However, none of the money was used to make silver cups, basins, trumpets, scissors for trimming, lamp wicks, or any other object of silver or gold. All the money was used to pay the workers and to buy the materials for the repairs. The men in charge of the work were honest in everything, and therefore there was no need to demand that they give account of the money. The money from the offerings for guilt and the offerings for sin was not put into the box but remained with the priests. At that time, King Hazael of Syria attacked the city of Gath and conquered it. Then he decided to attack Jerusalem. King Joash of Judah took all the offerings that Jehoshaphat, Joram, and Ahaziah, who had been kings before him, had dedicated to the Lord God. Along with these offerings, he added his own offerings and all the gold that was in the treasury of the temple and of the palace, and sent everything as a present to King Hazael. Then Hazael gave up attacking Jerusalem. All the other things that King Joash did are written in the history of the kings of Judah. The officers of King Joash made a revolt against him. Then two of them, Josachar, son of Shemith, and Jehozabad, son of Shomer, killed him in the house, built on the embankment that had been made on the east side of the city of Jerusalem, on the road that goes down to the city of Silla. Joash was buried in the tombs of the kings in the city of David, and his son Amaziah reigned in his place. Chapter 13. In the 23rd year of the reign of Joash, son of Ahaziah, in Judah, Jehoash, son of Jehu, became king of Israel and reigned 17 years in Samaria. Jehoash did evil things that did not please the Lord God, and committed those same sins that Jeroboam, son of Nebat, had made the people of Israel commit in the past. He never turned away from his evil ways. Therefore, the Lord was angry with Israel and allowed King Hazael of Syria and his son Ben-Hadad to defeat the Israelites many, many times. Then Jehoash prayed to the Lord God, and he answered his prayer, for he saw how the king of Syria made the people of Israel suffer. The Lord sent a leader who delivered the Israelites from the Syrians, and thus they lived in peace as before. However, they did not abandon those sins that Jeroboam had made the people of Israel commit in the past, but continued committing them, and the idol pole remained in Samaria. Of all his army, Jehoash was left with only 50 horsemen, 10 chariots, and 10,000 infantry soldiers, because the king of Syria had destroyed the rest, crushing them like dust. All the other things that Jehoash did, and also his acts of courage, are written in the history of the kings of Israel. He died and was buried in Samaria, and his son Joash became king in his place. In the 37th year of the reign of Joash of Judah, Joash, son of Jehoash, became king of Israel and reigned 16 years in Samaria. Joash did evil things that did not please the Lord God. He did not abandon those same sins that Jeroboam, son of Nebat, had made the people of Israel commit in the past, but continued committing them. All the other things that Joash did, and also his courage in the battle against King Amaziah of Judah, are written in the history of the kings of Israel. Joash died and was buried in the tombs of the kings in Samaria, and his son Jeroboam too became king in his place. The prophet Elisha was attacked by an incurable disease. When he was about to die, King Joash went to visit him. Then he embraced him and cried, saying, my father, my father." The Lord was like an army to defend Israel. Then Elisha said, "Take a bow and some arrows." Joash took the bow and the arrows, and Elisha told him to prepare to shoot, and the king did as he commanded. Then Elisha put his hands over the king's hands and said, "Open the window that faces toward Syria." The king opened it. Then Elisha commanded, "Shoot the arrow." As soon as the king shot, Elisha said, "The Lord's arrow of victory." It is through the Lord that God will grant victory against Syria. The Lord will fight against the Syrians at Aphek until he defeats them. Then Elisha told Joash to take the other arrows and strike the ground with them. The king struck the ground 3 times and stopped. Elisha became angry at this and said, "You should have struck 5 or 6 times, and then you would have completely defeated the Syrians. But now you will defeat them only 3 times." Then Elisha died and was buried. Every year, bands of Moabites used to invade the land of Israel. Once, some Israelites who were conducting a burial saw one of those bands. Then the Israelites threw the dead man into Elisha's tomb and fled. As soon as the body touched Elisha's bones, the man came alive again and stood up. King Hazael of Syria dominated the people of Israel during all the time Jehoash was king. But the Lord God was gracious to the Israelites. He did not allow them to be destroyed, but helped them because of the covenant he had made with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. He never forgot his people. When King Hazael of Syria died, his son Ben-Hadad became king. King Joash of Israel defeated Ben-Hadad 3 times and recovered the cities that had been taken by Ben-Hadad during the reign of Jehoash, the father of Joash. Chapter 14. In the 2nd year of the reign of Joash, son of Joash, in Israel, Amaziah, son of Joash, became king of Judah. When this happened, Amaziah was 25 years old. He reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jehoaddan, and she was from the city of Jerusalem. Amaziah did what is pleasing to the Lord God, however, not as correctly as his ancestor King David. On the contrary, he did what his father Joash had done. He did not tear down the pagan places of worship, and the people continued to offer sacrifices and burn incense in those places. As soon as he was established in power, Amaziah ordered the execution of the officials who had assassinated his father, the king. However, he did not kill their children, but followed what the Lord had commanded in the law of Moses. Parents shall not be put to death because of crimes committed by their children, or children because of crimes committed by their parents. A person shall be put to death only as punishment for the crime that he himself has committed. In the Valley of Salt, Amaziah killed 10,000 soldiers from the land of Edom. He conquered and wore the city of Selah and named it Joktiel, which it is called to this day. Then Amaziah sent messengers to King Joash of Israel, challenging him to battle. But King Joash answered like this. Once, a thorn bush in the mountains of Lebanon sent the following message to a cedar. "Give your daughter in marriage to my son." But a wild animal passed by and trampled the thorn bush. Indeed, you, Amaziah, defeated the Edomites, and therefore you are all proud. Rejoice in your fame and stay at home. Why stir up trouble that will bring only disaster for you and for your people? But Amaziah did not listen. Then King Joash marched out with his soldiers and fought against him at Beth-Shemesh. In the region of Judah, the army of Amaziah was defeated, and all his soldiers fled home. Joash captured Amaziah at Beth-Shemesh, advanced to Jerusalem, tore down the walls of the city from the Ephraim gate to the corner gate, a stretch of about 200 meters. He took all the silver and all the gold he found, took all the objects of the temple and all the treasures of the palace, and also took hostages and returned to Samaria. All the other things that Joash did, and also his courage in the battle against King Amaziah of Judah, are written in the history of the kings of Israel. Joash died and was buried in the tombs of the kings in Samaria, and his son Jeroboam too became king in his place. King Amaziah of Judah lived 15 years after the death of King Joash of Israel, son of Jehoaz. All the other things that Amaziah did are written in the history of the kings of Judah. There was a conspiracy in Jerusalem to kill Amaziah, and therefore he fled to the city of Lachish, but his enemies pursued him there, and they killed him. His body was brought back to Jerusalem on a horse, and he was buried in the tombs of the kings in the city of David. Then the people placed in his place as king his son Uzziah, who was 16 years old. After the death of his father, Uzziah reconquered and rebuilt the city of Elath in the 15th year of the reign of Amaziah. Son of Joash in Judah, Jeroboam II, son of Joash, became king of Israel and reigned 41 years in Samaria. Jeroboam II did evil things that did not please the Lord God. He did not abandon those same sins that Jeroboam, son of Nebat, had made the people of Israel commit in the past. Jeroboam II reconquered all the territory that had belonged to Israel, from the entrance of Hamath in the north to the Dead Sea in the south. The Lord, the God of Israel, had promised this through his servant, the prophet Jonah, son of Amittai, who was from Gath-Hepher. The Lord God saw the terrible suffering of the Israelites. There was no one, absolutely no one, to help them. But the Lord had no intention of destroying the people of Israel completely and forever. Therefore he delivered them through King Jeroboam II. All the other things that Jeroboam II did, his power, how he fought, and how he reconquered the cities of Damascus and Hamath for Israel, everything is written in the history of the kings of Israel. Jeroboam II died and was buried in the tombs of the kings, and his son Zechariah became king in his place.